So huge breaking news. The Seven Deadly Sins manga is finally coming to a close very soon. And despite the fact that we've been hearing this already for a couple years now, that it's on his last arc, it's ending soon, it's got a little left. At one point everyone thought the manga was about to end because it was like a farewell chapter, and it still kept going. We have confirmation now that the Seven Deadly Sins manga is 100% ending with volume 41. Now, when does that exactly mean? Exactly how many more chapters are left to make up volume 41? When does volume 41 drop? I did a little bit of the knowledge, so I got an idea of more or less how much longer we have, because again, if the volume drops in May, obviously the chapter's got to be released in the magazine before that. So let's jump into it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So yeah, the author of the Seven Deadly Sins manga is finally wrapping this bad boy up. And I gotta say finally, because to be honest with you, the Seven Deadly Sins, I feel as though had it ended a couple years ago, had it wrapped things up and didn't go the route that it did, I think Seven Deadly Sins could have gone down as like a classic. And I do think that there's still people that regard it as such. I know for a fact that there's still people that love it to death. But one of the things with me personally that why I never got back into the series is every time I wanted to, because I stopped around, actually coincidentally enough, where the anime made that horrible episode of, like, you know, Meliodas. I covered it like a couple months ago. They finally adapted that. I stopped in the manga around that point, Meliodas versus Escanor fight. I stopped around that particular point, and it wasn't for any reason with the manga, to be honest with you. It was just more so like I had a whole bunch of other stuff that I was covering, so I just kind of forgot about it for a bit. And then every time I wanted to get back into it, I would ask my audience on Twitter, I would ask people in general, like, yo, y'all think I should get into it? You know, 6 months down the road, I asked that. I get always the same response. It went downhill. You know, 6 months ago, a few months ago, a couple months ago, I asked the same question again and again, and every time majority of people say it's trash, it went downhill, it should have ended a long time ago, and that kind of deterred me. Like, don't get me wrong, I like to make my own decision and my own opinion on stuff, because, like, for example, people will tell you every single detail about Fairy Tail is trash, and no, there's some stuff from Fairy Tail, despite as much criticism I've given it, that I actually really like and enjoy. So, you know, that's not the main reason, but it definitely was kind of like, whoa, because Seven Deadly Sins, from what I remember when I was reading it and stuff, it had a lot of respect. There was respect on its name. People did not talk about the Seven Deadly Sins like that. So to see the drastic change in support and the just the switch in general kind of really made me feel a little bit like, so I'm already behind like by 50 or 100 chapters, and then everyone is telling me basically it's shit, leave it alone. Kind of made me not want to get back into it. And then I kept hearing, like, I want to say it was like sometime last year maybe, oh, it's ending within a chapter or two, and then it didn't end, it kept going. So a lot of confusion, which honestly, for the most part, it made me feel as though the magazine and the publishers made him continue the story, made him keep going, and didn't allow him to finish. That's what I think. Honestly, I feel as though Seven Deadly Sins, despite what the author may have said in different interviews, it felt as though it was meant to wrap up after the events of the first season. Like, that's what it really felt like. Don't get me wrong, they had some setup and some build up along the way, but it really felt as though like that was 100% how it was planned. And then later on there was more like, well, let's add this. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot better stuff. I love the 10 Commandments, I love the idea of it, some of the characters were great, all of that good stuff. I had a blast with what I read up to, but I do think that it wasn't planned past that first arc, and that was another reason why we ran into so many obstacles and problems as the series kept on going, because the author didn't have it mapped out like he did that first arc. But I got the article, we'll read the article, and then also I'll give you a breakdown of more or less how many more chapters we probably have until the manga is completely done. The Seven Deadly Sins manga ends with 41st volume in May. The 40th volume of Nakaba Suzuki's The Seven Deadly Sins manga confirmed on Monday that the manga will end in the 41st volume, which will ship on May 15th. In the manga side story collection that also debuted on Monday, Suzuki stated in an afterword that side stories based on the remaining characters will come out someday. However, he added that it will be after he begins serializing a new work, confirming that he is working on a new series. The editor for the manga had posted a coloring printing proof for the 40th volume last Thursday, in which Suzuki said that the manga has one more volume left in the author's notes. The magazine previously stated last May that the manga's 315th chapter, titled Farewell, The Seven Deadly Sins, would be the manga's climax, but the manga continued. Suzuki stated in an August 2018 interview with Kadokawa's Da Vinci magazine that he is planning on concluding the manga in about a year, after about 40 volumes worth of story. He noted that he had the ending planned since the beginning of the manga, and that he plans to give it an ending worthy of a shonen magazine. Which, yeah, I don't disagree that he probably had an ending in mind, but he probably had the ending in mind minus a lot of the shit that has happened since where he probably had it planned. Because again, like I say, it felt very, very planned and executed with the first arc. Because, I mean, if you think about it, with the first arc, we met almost all of the 7 Deadly Sins minus one. We didn't meet Escanor till the 10 Commandments stuff, but he blew through us meeting almost all of them in that first arc alone. So I do think that he did have this ending planned, but a lot of shit in between that wasn't planned got thrown in there, which again, a lot of it was great. I love the 7 Deadly Sins. I mean, I don't like what happened with the anime, and I don't like, from what I heard, all the bad stuff that went down with the manga. So it's bittersweet, to be honest with you. Now, with it ending with the 41st volume that drops in May, how many chapters does that leave us left with? Now, from what I was looking at, a 7 Deadly Sins manga volume usually has between, and it's shown in manga volumes in general, between 7 to 9 chapters. I've seen the last couple ones had 8 and 9. We currently have 4 chapters that have not been put into a volume yet. So we already about halfway through that 41st volume. So I'm guessing we have anywhere from 3 to 5 more chapters of the 7 Deadly Sins. I want to argue it closer to the 5 mark because, well, even though this isn't in Shonen Jump, this isn't Weekly Shonen Magazine. Usually with Shonen Jump, they give us a heads up 5 chapters in advance before it's ending. So maybe this is going to be an 8 chapter volume with 4 already there, or it could be even a 9 chapter volume. We might have about, I want to say 5, so it'd probably be a 9 chapter volume, to be honest with you. But who knows, it could be 3 left, it could be 4 left. We got about 3 to 5 though, I want to say, left for the 7 Deadly Sins, which is about a month's worth of chapters, a little less, a little more, give or take a chapter or 2. But yeah, 7 Deadly Sins manga, I don't want to say finally. I mean, I said that earlier in the video because it's bittersweet. I'll never forget when I got into the 7 Deadly Sins all those years ago, and I made a video, 7 Deadly Sins is the next big thing, and I was so excited when it blew up, and I was so happy with the first season of the anime, despite the fact that I'll never forget, I was so mad that I couldn't get it on any legal streaming services, because at the time I was starting to transition and like, well, it's more convenient for me to watch all my anime on, you know, Crunchyroll, or it's more convenient, you know what I'm saying, to have it more in a condensed space where it's just all on my phone, I could jump onto it or whatever, and I just remember having a blast watching that first season. Just it was freaking awesome. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect by any means, but A1 Pictures really nailed it with the voice acting, the visuals, and all of that stuff, and the story in general, man. Like, you fall in love with these characters after a while, and it's like, damn, another one is ending, another great story. Again, maybe it went to shit after a certain point, but the stuff that I remember from the 7 Deadly Sins, some of the battles, some of the characters, Bond, still one of my favorites of all time of that series. Like, I'm gonna miss this shit, and maybe I will go, once it ends, go back and finally finish it off and see exactly what happened, because I did hear some spoilers, some crazy shit. But it's bittersweet, man. It was a great series in the beginning, and from what I've heard, it kind of went downhill. But either way, curious what you guys think. How do you feel? 7 Deadly Sins, about a month left of the manga to go. Basically, 1 volume remaining to be released. Are you excited to see how it ends? Are you sad? Are you happy? Again, you'd be sad if, like, you really don't have much problems with it, or you'd still be sad even if you did have problems with it, because you get attached to the characters. Happy, I could see being like, well, it's been a while, it went downhill, let's just get this bad boy over with. Either way, I'm looking forward to, at the very least, hearing how it ends, because I probably won't be able to read through it for a while. I'm behind like a couple of years worth of chapters, so it'll be a while before I see exactly how it ends, you know, through and through. But I do want to hear, for the most part, what the last chapter entails and who survived. And again, I've heard some spoilers about stuff, but yeah, I won't drop them in here. And your overall thoughts and expectations, the finale, 7 Deadly Sins manga, it's finally becoming a reality. And also, with the author already working on his next work based on the 7 Deadly Sins, would you be willing to give it a try? Or he kind of soured you to his writing after a while with 7 Deadly Sins, so it's kind of like, honestly, I would give it a shot. I think 7 Deadly Sins was a great work. Maybe he was forced to drag it out longer than he wanted to, so kind of messed things up, but I'll definitely give whatever he got going with the next work, at the very least, a shot. Shit, I gave Fairy Tail's author Hiromashima a shot with Eden Zero, and from what I been told. Again, I'm only about like 15 chapters in, but it's way better than fairy tales, so you never know. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links of course are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking lead, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace. Last time, I'ma say last time. Moving on to the future, leave the memories as a pastime. Memories always feel like the worst. Dating all the past, leave it in a hearse. Sometimes I wanna lie, but I don't. Why lie when truthfully you get caught in it? Then usually it's all off and shit. Uncalled for shit. Now I'm off the shit. Maybe lately what I've been facing got me crazy. No, I can't take it. Maybe